Changing your habits. Hello, all you beautiful souls out there in my social media family. My name is Chris, and I'm here to help you find your happiness. Now, in today's video, I'm still here at home, still feeling a little bit under the weather. However, I still wanted to put out some content for you guys, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing changing bad habits. So, for me, one of the hardest things in the past was to figure out, like, how do I go about changing my bad habits? Like, you know, what are some simple, easy ways? Because for me, like, I hate going through like these step-by-step processes and, you know, trying to have to focus on things all the time. You know, with everything else going on in our lives, that can get really difficult. So, a super easy way to go about changing the things that we don't like about ourselves, right, or starting to change these habits that we want to change, is by picking one habit a month to change, right? So whatever it may be, whatever that habit is that you want to change, pick one habit, pick one, right? And change that habit. Work on changing that habit every month. And the way that you do it, okay, for me, so one of the things that I did is I took a 3.5 by 11, or sorry, like the 3.5 by 5, you know, cards, right? Like those little, I don't even know what you call it, like the paper. I don't even know what to call them, right? But anyways, what I did is I on there, I wrote the habit that I wanted to change. And every time that I found that I was doing it, I would go ahead and make a little tally mark on that 3.5 by flashcards. That's what they are. I can't see, I'm still out of it, man. So anyways, but what I would do, so I would write the habit at the top, and I would put a little tally mark throughout the day, like every time that I did that habit, right? And so the goal was, you know, because obviously when we try to change habits, it's hard to change them like boom, instantly. With, you know, it's depending on how long we've been doing it, it's very difficult. So the goal for me was to lessen the amount of times that I did that every day. All right. So whatever that may be, even if it's, you know, thinking about your insecurities or thinking about things that scare you. Okay. So like, for example, I'm going to give you one for me. All right. The one that I used was thinking about certain things, right? I didn't like the fact that my thought processes started to take me down these places, you know, that made me feel in some kind of low vibrational way. So what I did is so like the first day that I did it, I think it was, I don't even want to admit how many times I thought about it, right? But it was a lot, okay? It was a lot. And so what I did is each day I worked at doing it less and less and less. And what I noticed is that as long as we are aware that we're doing these things, that we have that consciousness that these things are happening, that is when we can really start to work at fixing them, right? Or clearing ourselves of them, or cleansing ourselves of them, right? So the first step is, if you're aware that you have habits, that is awesome. That is so awesome. I can't even tell you that you are already, you know, 10 times further along in the process than you might think that you are, right? The next thing is starting to work on lessening those things as you're doing them. And the way, if you're keeping a tally mark, that's a perfect way to do it, because now you're aware of how often you're doing it throughout the day. So for example, for me, like before I started doing that tally exercise that I mentioned for you, it was very difficult for me to figure out, okay, so am I doing it as often as I was before? Because it was a lot, right? And so what I did is, okay, so let's just say the first day that I was keeping the tallies was 15, right? So then I knew the next day that I would have to do it less and less. And one of the ways that I was able to change that habit is every time that I went to put a tally mark down for those thoughts that were making me feel in some sort of way, sorry about that, that were making me feel some sort of way, all I had to do was replace that with some sort of a positive thought. So for example, if it was an insecurity that I had about myself, what I would do is every time that thought came up, I would say, okay, so now that thought is no longer something that I want to think about. What will I think about it in its place? So that insecurity would turn into something that I really enjoy about myself, right? Like I'm a very compassionate person, right? So every time that low vibrational thought would come up, I would tally it down and replace it with that high vibrational thought. And as that month went on, okay, I realized by the end of the month, by the last week, I was only doing it once or twice throughout the day, right? Whereas before, again, like I said, I'm not even going to admit how many times I was doing it beforehand, right? But it was a lot, you know? So anyways, through that process, I was able to go through and change more and more habits that I didn't like that I had. So this is the thing. Now imagine how many habits I've been able to change over the course of the last 11 months that I've been doing this. I've been pretty much able to rid myself of almost every bad habit that I've had in the past. So that's one of the things that I want you to consider, is that even though you might be sitting here thinking to yourself, well, I have so many, it's going to be impossible for me to get rid of all of them. Just start doing baby steps. Work on one per month and imagine how much different of a person you will be after that first 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months of getting rid of one bad habit every month. All right, everybody, I hope that you found this video helpful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, and please remember to share this with somebody who you think it might benefit, because we never know when the right words from the right person will find somebody at the right time and help them find their happiness. All right, everybody, until next time, I'm sending you all much love. Oh, don't forget to click on the link in the description below to my Vibe Tribe. Join me over there for exclusive content, and also don't forget to click that subscribe button. All right, everybody, until next time, sending you all much love. Peace.